Well, a few weeks ago or so, I did a video up here, right on this very uh, a raised mattress bough bed, whatever you want to call it, and where I was showing you my survival blanket, and had a number of people both call me, email, or comment or whatever, and wanted to know about how do you build this raised bed. And so I thought, well, today I got to doing a few things around the fire. So I thought, well, while I'm waiting for a bunch of coals to kind of build up and everything, I thought I'll go ahead and I could take this in apart and show you, but I'll just build a new one. What the heck? Then we'll have two, one here, and I'll do another one over there. Now, one of the advantages of having a raised bed like this is that, especially in colder weather, it gets you up off the ground. The coldest temperatures are right against the ground because cold air settles. This gets you up off the ground, whether the ground's cold or wet or whatever. And also it's nice, especially if, I may even show you putting a tarp shelter over one of these. But this is very nice because it would allow me to, if I have a tarp over me, I could be here in rainy weather or whatever. I'm sitting here at chair height. So being at chair height is comfortable. That's what we're used to. We're all used to that. And so I can sit here and do things and I'm not all squished up on the ground. I'm not cutting off the blood supply to my legs or whatever. It's very comfortable to be sitting at this height. The other thing also is if you happen to have a fire out front, similar to what we did at the thermal mass lean-to shelter, I don't know, a month or so ago. Same kind of situation. The heat of the fire can go underneath there as well and help warm from the bottom up. So, you know, there's a number of reasons. The other thing, if it's rainy or whatever, you're up out of the, if water happens to run underneath you, it doesn't really matter because you're up off the ground. So there's quite a few advantages, plus the way that this thing is built is very, very comfortable. If you do it properly, this is every bit as comfortable as a bed at home, and you can sleep all the way through the night on a bed like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build another bed just perpendicular to the one right over there. It's running this way, and then come around this side of the tree. I'm going to build one right here, and then that way if somebody comes up here, you got two people can sleep up off the ground. Might as well be constructive if I'm going to do it. Give somebody something that's worthwhile. So let's get started on this little bad boy. All right, so I've got my first two cross pieces done up. I usually try to find something that's a little bigger diameter for the bottom piece. It doesn't matter. You can start with whatever size and crisscross your way all the way up. It doesn't matter that much. But anyway, I found these two pieces right here. I didn't have to do any cutting, and I don't recommend you cut anything that you don't have to. This other one I built over here, the first one that I showed you, I actually used the Pocket Boy, Silky Pocket Boy, with has the large teeth on it, and everything I cut for that one, I cut out of that little saw right there. Worked very nicely. Now if you're going to be doing a lot of work, then you may want a saw like this, about a 24-inch blade. You can make quick work of cutting stuff because you got a nice long stroke each time, and this one will cut on the push stroke and the pull stroke, whereas the Silkies and these type of saws like this only cut on the pull stroke. So anyway, a couple of thoughts. But so now the next thing I want to do is I want to get me a couple of stringers here. One on that side, one on this side over here. And I want to go from about right here. And I want to go back to about right here so I'm long enough so when I lay on it, I like to have it a little longer than I am so that you don't have stuff trying to fall off in the night. So. Alright, so trim this little piece off here. Toss it over to the fire. Now, on this one end, I don't really have to trim. Whoops, there I go. I don't really have to trim much of anything off. I can leave it. But usually the butt end of these quakies gets all twisted and stuff. So, I don't know. Sometimes I cut it off just to have a straight end to work with. So those are pretty good like that. And then I'll just come down here to this far end and trim all these off. And I could leave them, or I could even break them off. But since this saw is so easy, why not use it? That's what I'm thinking. All right, now we'll get ready to do the next layer here. I had to add another layer here because on that one over there I started with a big log. Started with something smaller here. So like I say, you can keep building this up however much you want. Doesn't really matter, you know, how many layers or whatever till you get it right. So now this one's about as high as that one. So now you can see it can rock a little bit. So I need to fix that. So let me show you what we do to secure all this stuff together so it's all tied in here together. So you can see I started off with 2 stringers, laid a cross piece, 2 more stringers here, front and back, another cross piece, 2 more stringers here on top. I told you I was going to show you how we hold all this together. And we do all that by means of a jam knot. And I'll get a little up close here, but the very first thing you do is tie an overhand knot in the end. That's a stopper knot to keep the knot from running off the end. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do, I'll get this started, then we'll come up closer. But what we're doing is we're going diagonal through all these pieces here. Alright, so basically what we've got is this end here with the knot. We just go around the other piece and make another overhand knot around that basically. Pull that down. And then what we want to do is slide this down here. And normally we'll go through this thing, so we invert the knot, and we keep this piece down here so that we can throw a knot through it when we get all done. So I'm going to put my foot on here and I'm going to pull, and we're using a get right up on here. And we're using this parachute cord because it stretches. Because what we want to do is we want to get this thing as tight as we can get. We want to have it so we have basically an elastic situation here. Okay, so now I've tensioned up on that. This loop that's left, I just pass the end of the cord through there, and we just draw that down, And now we're good to go. So now this whole end I can pick it up. And I do this on all 4 corners, and that'll make this thing be pretty sturdy. If I ever need to, I can put a diagonal piece that I tie off to brace it that way too. Okay, so now I've got all this thing put together with jam nuts. So I basically can carry my bed. So this frame's all put together, it's movable, and basically this part is just sitting on, it's just basically sitting on 2 logs laying crossways on the ground. And then I put a log underneath this side because the ground slopes a little bit, so that kind of brings this up to level it. And that's all you do to level it, is put stuff under it or whatever. So now basically you can see that the bed frame is done. Alright, so in lieu of the willows and that sort of thing, which is really technically a better bed, I did it this way, same way I did on the bed over there that I showed you earlier. Worked beautifully. I slept just like crazy, very good. So here's what I like. I want something that has a little bit of flex in it, see that? And if I have something a little stiffer, I usually put that towards the outside because these pieces on the outside are pretty solid. And then towards the middle, I want it to flex a little more. And yeah, those 2 are similar. I try not to put anything that's really stiff next to anything that's not stiff, because then you'll really feel that. But this is pretty even right now. I could get right in here and lay in it just right now as is. And you actually kind of want to do that to see, does the bed feel level? You know, are you feeling any hard spots or soft spots? Are you leaning to one side or the other? So I'm actually pretty good. If I knock that little pimple off right there, that's the only thing I really felt. Other than that, I could actually sleep just like that, and I wouldn't be too bad. I mean, I could sleep. I would fall asleep. It's not uncomfortable enough for me not to fall asleep. But now what we want to do is put some boughs on here and make this thing just super comfortable. And I'm not going to put a ton of them on because I'm not going to use it tonight. I have that other one. But I'm going to put enough on to show you. And basically you do the same thing. You'll just make it thicker to whatever your comfort level is. And then you lay down on this dude and go to sleep, man. It's very comfortable. Alright, like I said, I'm not going to totally cover this bed because sun's going to be going down and I got stuff I need to be doing before dark. Anyway, but so what you want to do is you're doing a herringbone pattern. One this way, one that way, and you point the stems, here to the outside, because you don't want those things poking into you, so you put them on the pointing out. And then what you'll do, you just keep working your way down here in this fashion. And what this is doing is this is kind of helping to interlock. This helps to interlock these things because one's kind of laying on top of the other and they're crossing. And so by doing that, you find that this stuff doesn't want to come off of you in the middle of the night. Stems down, stems to the outside, whatever. And you just kind of keep working your way down here. Now when you get to this foot area, you don't really need much of anything. Because your feet will be just fine. They don't need much padding or cushioning. So, and normally I'd do a little more than that because that will pack down a little during the night. And I'd put extra right here on the head end for a pillow. So now it's nice and cozy. I can sit here. I can do things, projects or whatever, and nothing's bothering me. I'm comfortable. I can read. I can do write, whatever I want to do, and I'm cozy. And since this bed, I could pick it up. I could move it right over there by the fire if I wanted to. So, I mean, you do have a lot of options with this thing. And so, oh yeah. Now that is nice and cozy. I could easily take a siesta right here, right now. Very comfortable. So anyway, basically, it's really all there is to it. This is Perry Peacock Wilderness Innovation. Loving my time outdoors. Love tinkering around with all this stuff. I mean, this isn't something that you're going to do every time, but it is kind of nice. Say you're going to stay here for a few days, or say you're going to come back every now and then. Hey, you got a ready-made bed already sitting here ready for you. You're up off the ground and cozy. You're not down laying in the ground and stuff. It's pretty nice, I'll tell you what. Anyway, be safe, have a good time, enjoy your time outdoors. So one of the nice things you can do when you have a shelter like this is to add a tarp. This is right here is a multi-cam camo tarp. It's our PSTL. It's 10. In other words, it's 10 by 10. And the nice thing is I can pitch it with a full back, like the back goes all the way to the ground, and helps to give me very good coverage on the backside. And it's basically A-frame lengthwise over the bed, and then I pull up a stick in the front of me there to give me kind of an A-frame front, which gives me a good view out and gives me kind of a roomy front vestibule area that I can do things and I can look out, and that makes a very nice setup.